Okay. Try it. Nice try. Announcements. You can start again. You have to stand on your chair. Sorry. Oh, girls' retreat is quickly coming upon us. It will be at Tim Ford's Lake.
Oh my gosh.
Tim Burton. I couldn't think of a more famous Tim.
Tim Allen? Yeah.
Whatever. It's almost Halloween. You get Tim Burton. So it's going to be at Tim's Ford Lake. October 23rd to 25th. Cost us $30. If you want to go, tonight is the last night to sign up on that board. Also, your money is due by the 15th.
Thank you. God's sweet tea in the CSC. Apparently, that's what the shirts are going to say for Grove Street. And I quote from Aaron Freshman, they are pretty awesome. If you're not going, you can still buy a shirt because, like Aaron said, they're pretty awesome. I've actually seen a picture of the logo and it is actually kind of cool. The last night place orders tonight, just like last night, to sign up. So, be sure you do that, and money is due by the 15th.
Halloween! The theme for this year's Halloween party will be Masquerade. Ooh. It will be October 30th. The time is to be announced. If you don't never been to a masquerade, we're going for this. Watch Phantom of the Opera. If you've never seen Phantom of the Opera, see Stephanie. Stephanie, can you? Yes.
I've never seen no question.
Yes, Clark.
So I'm allowed to wear anything I want as long as it's got a mask on it.
Yes.
Even a birthday suit?
No. Unless it's a literal suit. No.
Yeah, that's a lot of guys say it. I know what it means. That's why it's...
Yeah, this one's for you.
No, stop. I know. Okay, so hi, I'm Erin. No, we have our annual giveaway at Central, and because I am a social work major, this is gonna be my class project. Is helping with this, so that's the reason I'm talking. So right now we need people to donate clothes or house goods or really anything. People get the misconception that this is for homeless people, which isn't necessarily true because a lot of the people we have just are in low income housing. So if you have stuff like pictures, houseware, stuff, that kind of stuff can help out. Also, we're going to give out little goodie bags. So if you want to give like little things of toothpaste, or I feel like everyone's making and I don't like you. Little things of toothpaste, shampoo, that kind of stuff. If you want to donate, you can bring that to me. That'd be a big help. Also, the biggest thing I can request is that you volunteer. We need help on the day before sorting everything. David, you know how crazy it gets.
That Wednesday before.
Yes, yes. We'll have a lot of stuff to sort through. So if you want to help with that. Also, the day of, we need help helping people. And then also, we're going to give out whatever remaining goodie bags we have. We're going to take it to Miller Plaza and give it to some of the homeless there. So if you're interested in helping, please come and please talk to me. Thank you.
People, are you ready?
No, it's not there. Hold on. Just a second.
Ah! Little peanut! Make the announcement, Alex.
LS team meeting tonight after Devo. Be there, be square.
People. 2016. Yeah. So this year, we're not going to do a conference thing. We're going to do our own thing, but we're still going to be at PCB, Panama City Beach, for those of you who don't know acronyms. The houses are booked. It's going to be MLK weekend. Everyone's invited. And be sure to invite your friends and your friends' friends, but not Erin. She's not invited because she stinks.
I'm going anyway.
Okay. Then bring air fresheners. Because we're going to be in a house. I think we actually have 2 houses.
Yeah,
We're
we have
already booked.
2 houses. They are directly on the beach. And for anyone who has gotten the chance to talk to Craig about like where we're staying and everything, Craig has a thing about not staying in sketchy places. So these are actually like really nice, like fancy houses. They have pools and hot tubs. Correct?
There might be pictures.
Pools, hot tubs.
Oh,
They're
Alex,
on the beach.
I'm glad you asked because we have visual representation.
Oh, wait.
of
What
how
is this?
And
The cost is only $60. It's 10 more from our normal retreat because we travel a very long way, but the cost is $60. Due sometime in December.
Yeah, we'll give you guys like a hard due date for the money in a little bit. We just want to give you guys a heads up now since it is a little bit more expensive than the usual one. So be thinking about it. It's going to be awesome. Everybody's driving.
I think Greg have any issues. I know $60. There's like it's more than usual, and you know if $50 is a lot for you, then $60 is still like out of your range. Talk to Craig if any of that like keeps you from going. We don't want you not to go because like this is the only reason. So if this is what's keeping you from going, definitely talk to Craig about it. Like just go see him and we'll work something out. I promise. You will go. We'll make you go if you want to go.
True story.
Okay, I'm done.
Hey, our t-shirts are in.
T-shirts are in. If you ordered a t-shirt, come and see us after Evo. All right, guys. Before we start saying goodnight, Craig, do you want to say a prayer for us?
Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for this day that you've given us another opportunity to allow Christ to live in us and to be an example to those that are lost, those that are around us. Father, thank you so much for sending your Son, died on the cross for our sins, so we could someday be with you in heaven. Father, be with David tonight as he brings us the lesson and shares to us the people and the culture of Nicaragua. Help us to open our hearts and our minds and touch us and to understand that this is a mission field just like Nicaragua. Be with us throughout the rest of this night, Father. Keep us safe. Forgive us of our many sins. I know we fall short often. Please forgive us and wipe those from your mind. In your Son's name we pray.
Gonna trade my people for that one bright and fair. Christ left to bear a mansion for children in the air. I'll join him in that land where tears no sorrow can be found. When I see the mansion, robe and crown, mansion, robe and the crown will be there. Love always abound. Let me of none surround. Lord, please serve mansion, robe and
live for crowns so bright and new. I'll wear a smile so bright, for there'll be no cause for a frown. When I receive a mention, robe and crown. Mention, robe and a crown in glory. Their love always abound forever. Let me your throne surround. Lord, please preserve a mention, robe and crown. Beyond the azure blue, a God concealed from human sight. He tinted skies with heavenly hue, and framed the worlds with His great might. There is a God, He is alive. In Him we live, and we survive. From the star God, created man. He is our God, the great I am. There was a long, long time ago a God whose voice the prophets heard. He is a God that we should know, who speaks from His inspired word. There is a God, He is alive. In Him we live and we survive. From the star God, created man. He is our God, the great I am. Son upon a tree, a life was willing there to give, that He from sin might set men free, and evermore with Him could live. There is a God, He is alive. In Him we live and we survive. From the star God, created man. He is our God, the great I am. We'll call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, and so shall I be saved from my enemies. I know the Lord liveth, and blessed be the rock, that God of my salvation be exalted. I know the Lord liveth, and blessed be the rock, that God of my salvation be exalted. Jesus Christ died for me, and He took away my sins. I will live with Him for eternity. I know the Lord liveth, and blessed be the rock, let God of my salvation be exalted. I know the Lord liveth, and blessed be the rock, let God of my salvation be exalted. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, and so shall I be saved from my enemies. I know the Lord liveth, and blessed be the rock, let God of my salvation be exalted. I know the Lord Everyone needs compassion, a love that's never failing. Let mercy fall on me. Everyone needs forgiveness, a kindness of the Savior, the hope of nations. Savior, He can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save forever. Author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave. So take me as you find me, all my fears and failures. Fill my life again. I give my life to follow everything I believe in. Now I surrender. Savior, He can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save forever. Author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave. So shine your light and let the whole world see. We're singing for the glory of the risen King. Jesus, shine your light and let the whole world see. We're singing for the glory of the risen King. Savior, He can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save forever. Author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave. Over all the earth you reign on high, every mountain stream, every sunset sky. But my one request, Lord, my only aim, is that you reign in me again. Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again, over every thought, over every word. May my life reflect the beauty of my Lord, 'cause you mean more to me than any earthly thing. So won't you reign in me again, Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again, Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again? You are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again? How do you explain? How do you describe a love that goes from east to west and runs as deep as it is wide? You know all our cannot express the love we feel, but we long for you to hear. So listen to our hearts, hear our spirit sing, a song of praise that flows from those you have redeemed. And we will use the words we know to tell you what an awesome God you are. But words are not enough to tell you of our love, so listen to our hearts. If words could fall like rain from these lips of mine, and if I had 1,000 years, Lord, I would still run out of time. If you listen to my heart, every beat will say, thank you for the life, thank you for the truth, and thank you for the way. So listen to our hearts, hear our spirit sing, a song of praise that flows from those you have redeemed. And we will use the words we know to tell you what an awesome God you are. But words are not enough to tell you of our love, so listen to our hearts. So listen to our hearts, hear our spirit sing, a song of praise that flows from those you have redeemed. And we will use the words we know to tell you what an awesome God you are. But words are not enough to tell you of our love, so listen to our hearts. But words are not enough to tell you of our love, so listen to our hearts.
All right, guys. So tonight is what I believe at least be the start of our missions week. So we have a pretty awesome speaker tonight. Craig, are you going to do something?
And hey, Dennis, can you hit that light back there?
While Craig's doing that, raise your hand if you need a Bible, and I'll bring one around to you.
Okay, so tonight we're going to learn a little bit about Nicaragua. David's got some slides. He's going to talk a little bit about that. For those of you that don't know David, Sean Hoff is the pulpit minister over here at Central Church of Christ. And he's been doing that for 19 years, 21 years. And he is fluent in Spanish. And a funny story is when I was in Nicaragua a few years ago with him, he was translating, and the native Spanish speaker got hung up on a word that he did not know in Spanish. And so David actually told him, the native Spanish-speaking person, what the word was in Spanish. So I thought that was pretty humorous. But so I'm going to not take up any more of David's time and let him get busy with it.
I'll dazzle you with my Spanish here for just a moment. Is Lily here? Not to translate. Okay, first one, Caleb can help me because he speaks several languages. Taco. Can you translate that? Taco. Taco. Okay, good enough. He's got it. Well, we'll stop right there. Anyway, enough said. So you speak another language. A lot of people do, 2 or 3. But I did spend 7 years in Argentina doing mission work, and there's some things that I'll maybe allude to as far as the lesson goes. But right now I want to talk a little bit with some of the slides here about Nicaragua itself. And we have a picture over there too. Good. That's because some people, where in the world is Nicaragua? So you get out a map and it looks so big. Next slide. But it's really just above South America, North America, Guatemala, etc. So it's right nurtured in there, nestled in the middle of Central America. There's two prominent lakes in Nicaragua here, a couple of the largest in the world, actually. When you're looking at that slide, it doesn't look so big, but it is huge. It looks like an ocean, the one that's down by Granada where we usually go. Next slide. This is some of the layout of the land. Go ahead, next slide. A lot of volcanoes in Nicaragua, lakes, etc. And it's a gorgeous place. Next slide. A lot of it is not like what you would find here as far as roads go. There are paved roads around there, not like our interstate system by any means. And this is a general road that you might find around Nicaragua. And some are paved, some are not. A lot of those that went down there have seen both kinds. And any place you go, you'll find a vehicle that's packed, whether it's a truck, a car, a pickup, whatever it is, it's jam-packed full of people. That's just part of Nicaragua. Next slide. Just kind of a combination of different kinds of wood houses, concrete houses, different road pieces, what have you. Some cobblestone, some paved, and some gravel. Next slide. This is the group that went last year. All but me in the picture there. I took the snapshot. There was the Dirty Dozen, right? All of us 12 that went down there, we were the Dirty Dozen. We had a great time, did a lot of things, and challenged each other. By the way, I needed to say right here, are we live streaming this? Okay, great. I want everybody to say hola to Walter. Hola, Walter. Great. Now we can get back on things here. Pictured in here, I meant to say that at the very beginning. Walter's been involved in going down there along with several for quite some time, and it's exciting to go with the CSC group. I get excited doing this. It makes me, I can't say feel young again. It just excites me. Okay, go with that. Next slide. There's the girls group. They went down there along with Leonora and her daughter, Berakel. Next slide. There's the guys group with David, her son. Great time we had down there. This is right outside of Leonora's house. So next slide. This is some of the things that the college kids do. It's somewhat based upon LST type work. Some of the classes that are taught are done in a setting like this in the church building itself. I didn't have shots of times where they went into some of the schools. There are schools that are actually available for us to go into. They're language training schools, and if we get there at the right time, timing-wise, and have enough time to spend down there, we can go in, and the teachers are welcoming us to come in and just take over their classes. Prime time to sit down and open the New Testament in Spanish, in English rather, and work with the people and talk with them about what's going on. So there's two different ways that the scriptures can be taught by people that know no Spanish whatsoever down there by doing it through English. There are workbooks that some of you have seen before, even if you haven't done it. They're very basic in their English working, but take you through the study of Luke and teach you a little bit about Jesus. So next slide. There's 2 or 3 of these where some of them were doing this in the building this last time. Next slide. Guys get involved also in directing and services, either leading, singing, teaching classes, preaching. You may not have done it before, but if you get down there, you might get pushed into it. And so there's a lot of opportunities to do a variety of things. Next slide. A lot of activities with kids involved in that. As you see here, I think this was one of the big Saturday activities. That's what it was. So we had a good number of people. That wasn't just all children around there, but that shot happens to be that way. VBS-style stuff sometimes, and just games and fun things too. Next slide. Then it just keeps on going outside. Next slide. A little bit of soccer and just having fun out in the streets. Next slide. Thing is, you just got to go down there and be yourself. And I chose this slide here because most of y'all know Lily. She's just sitting down with the kids and being herself. And even if you don't know the language, which Lily has a little bit of an advantage of that, it's a great thing. You think, well, I can't do much down there because I don't know the language, and you sit down and you have fun with the kids. You may speak English and they speak Spanish, and you're driving along together. Am I not right? Group that's went down there. I mean, it works. It works because that language of love and care communicates no matter which way you go. So we go down there and we spend some time with the kids, with the adults too. Next slide. And just open up and spend time doing that. You know I was going to do that slide. Okay, next slide. We did some public transportation. It gets kind of crowded on the buses, but here's Walter in the corner here shooting his selfie along with the rest of the bus. But we have to get around, and sometimes getting a taxi for 12 people is not possible. So we just kind of cram everybody on the bus, and we go from one side of town to the other. So we get to marketplaces or to classes or back to the church building or buying different foods. And you learn a little bit about maneuvering around Nicaragua when you go on this trip. Next slide. There's the church in Granada. The building was painted a couple of years ago by our group that was down there 2 years ago. And was that last year's group? That was the year before. I'm looking at a couple of heads there that I didn't see this year. But that's pretty much our church there, Iglesia de Cristo. Next slide. Sometimes we're just meeting out under the trees and just enjoying a little fresh air and spending some time with the people. Next slide. What we're trying to do is teach people how to be mature. And that's the emphasis of this slide here. Maturity is an important thing in bringing people along. You see that there, Caleb? Okay, he's with it. Caleb's always trying to help people be mature. Next slide. Teaching the scriptures, spending time with people. The same thing that you do here in a lot of different ways is what our goal of going down there is. Next slide. So you take these kids that come along in life, some of y'all recognize those pictures, and you spend time with them, and year after year after year, next slide, they grow up right before you. That's the same two kids, brothers, Guillermo and Josue. And that's what we're after in the repeated trips to this same place, to keep spending more and more time with these people. If you could imagine if in this setting, this size of a crowd, if you had 10 people coming from Japan or wherever and are coming in and, or Nicaragua, and they're coming in and they're working and they're spending 2 weeks with the group, the impact that they would make for you. These people are new in their Christianity. And as we go down there with a group of 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 people, depending on the size, you make a major impact in their life. You're challenging them to be stronger, seriously being more mature. And so this is the goal of going down to the same place every year. Meanwhile, we're reaching out to people, we're teaching classes, we're bringing in people and reinforcing this whole idea of Christianity. That's it, I think. Okay? I've got a list here, blank right now. What I'd like to get for whoever might be interested to put your name, address, etc., fill out this page. If you're just interested in going, what we're looking to possibly do, we've got all the details ironed out, is to spend a month down there this coming summer in Granada, same place where we've been. So whether you've been there before or not ever been there, there's a place for you to go. And the funds, we're looking at probably somewhere around $1,200, $1,300 for the trip. Part of that time you'll be staying in homes if we get this whole thing resolved here, and part of the time in a hotel, because we're not sure we can really put up with a whole month of living in these houses. The people are great, but the heat can be kind of stressful sometimes. So this is our goal, and if you think you might be interested, it's not like a committal here, would you go ahead and fill out, put your name, email address, and I'm looking for a phone number. I think I even asked for age on here, just for curiosity's sake. And if you have a passport or not, put yes, no, whatever, so we can kind of see. So down the road, we take this list and we start working with it, and we'll get back in contact with you. So dates aren't nailed down yet, but it'd be probably sometime right about the beginning of the 1st of June. I know that's a week or two after most of the courses have ended here, but it works better for some of us that are going down to help lead that. Any questions?
Tell me if you stay with members of the church down there.
If we go down as this group like we did last year, chances are the guys will be staying at the church building like we did last year. And if it works out, then the girls will be staying in someone's home. And that gives them a little more protection, having some Latins there with them, and the guys just camp out and do our own thing at the building. That'll be for about 2 weeks or so, and then after that we'll switch to a motel. That's the general premise right now.
you said month, but like what month?
Month of June. Month of June. What we're looking at. So I know people are working on their schedules right now, and in a couple of weeks we'll have things ironed out in more detail for you. Chris Willis, who's the deacon at Central, who's in charge of this, is going to sit down with me, and we're going to go over some things and then pass it on to the elders and give them some suggestions about what we think after we iron out some of these things. Dennis Carroll's here with us tonight. Dennis has been down there 5 times. I'm really pleased that so many of our elders from our congregation, including Mark Tinker, who's 95 this year, has been down to Nicaragua to see the work and see what's going on. So it's a thing that we feel like is extremely important. A tiny bit of background here for you that don't know me. I became a Christian while I was at Freed-Hardeman. I came back from Vietnam. I was in the infantry. And before I got out of the Army, I went down to Freed-Hardeman to visit a girl. And liked the school, liked the girls. But man, this is great. So I just decided I'd go to Freed-Hardeman. And while I was there, I became a Christian. At the very end, during finals, that first semester, started in January, and it was that first Wednesday night in June, I guess, or the last of May, I became a Christian. And the very next year, when I came back, I started hanging around some of the guys who were talking about maybe doing some kind of campaign work or whatever. And I listened to them talk, and I thought, well, that's really interesting. A week here, a week there, and they were talking about going to Germany or wherever, and that's where a lot of the places were going at that time. And I heard a guy talk at a missions conference about a place called the Fiji Islands, and they said they speak English there for the most part. I thought, wow. We need to go to a place that speaks English. You talk their own language. So I went up to the speaker and I asked him, I said, do you think it's possible that I could maybe go work with this missionary that you're talking about that's in the Fiji Islands? He goes, I'll see. His name was Eddie Cantrell. Eddie lived in Huntsville. He put me in contact, or actually he contacted an eldership in Atlanta that was overseeing that group. And he said, hey, I got a couple of young men. By this time I had my roommate on board with this. They're thinking about going and doing mission work, and they'd like to go to the Fiji Islands. How about sending them there for the summer? At least sponsoring them. And they said, okay, great, but we don't have the money to do it. They'll have to raise their own funds. So, hey, the Catholic Church really wasn't interested in sending me to Fiji to work with the church. And so Eddie was telling me about it. I said, Eddie, I can't do it because I don't have the funds. And I basically, that year I was in Vietnam and I came back, I blew every bit of that money going out on dates last year with all these girls. So I have zero money. And he said, I'll get you there. And he did. And after that, when I came back, the girl that I thought I loved, I asked her to marry me. But I said it like this: do you want to be a missionary's wife? Because if she said no, I wasn't going. I wasn't going to be with her. My choice was to be a missionary after that summer in Fiji, because Eddie Cantrell was willing to help me get there. So I keep urging you all, knowing the benefits, not that everybody's going to be missionaries, but knowing the difference it makes, and I'll help you get there. You don't have money, we'll find it. Because I know what a difference it makes in going to a whole new culture, a new land, a new place, and having your world turned upside down. Just makes a difference in who you are. It'll make an impact in your Christian life. And so this is why I keep getting involved in this, because it's a neat thing. It's a great thing. And so think about it. If you don't do that, go somewhere else, but just think about getting outside of your comfort zone. Just a whole lot. And letting the Lord challenge you to do some things that you never dreamed possible before. I'll back up and tell you a tiny bit more of his story. I grew up, my dad was an alcoholic. What I mean by that is not that he got drunk once in a while. What I mean by that is that he wasted every bit of his salary on alcohol. There was a night that he never came home that he wasn't drunk. about 8 years old or so, my mom and dad divorced because my dad got really rough on her. And just basically make sure we were okay. We moved in with grandparents, and that was the life I had. So here I am, older in life, and I go to Freed-Hardeman, and I become a Christian, and I go home, and I'm telling my dad in a bar, so he's a bartender, his second job, I said, hey, I'm going to the Fiji Islands. And he said, how you do that? And I said, well, this guy's going to send me. He goes, bad chance that'll ever happen. But it happened. And my dad didn't help me. He laughed about it. But it happened. A few years later, I got together with some guys that were interested in doing mission work, and we put together a team. We went, eventually, to Argentina. After 2 years, come back for a furlough. We were still involved in the work there, but we were coming back. And I went to Freed-Hardeman to visit some of the people, and I stopped by the old dormitory where I stayed and talked to Mama Decker, as we called her. She pulled me aside. She said, I want you to know how proud I am of you. Because way back when you were students around campus and you were bragging about how you were going to be a mission team and go to these places, she says, some of the professors around here kind of laughed and said, that's so nice of them to have that kind of a dream, but they'll never make it. But we did. You can make a difference. It's your age. For who you are, you can make a difference. All you have to do is decide, I'm going to do this. And you can make a difference. Okay, now, part 2, little lesson here. We were singing a song a while ago and it talked about, Lord, you know my hopes, you know my fears. And we have. Not a person in here. Doesn't matter if you're an elder, preacher, or young or old, or strong or rich, or beautiful or ugly, or can't sing or can sing, whatever. You have it. We heard on the news last week about kids your age being killed for their faith. Are you a Christian? Yes. Wow, they're gone. Life is tough. It's tough. Proverbs 24:10. Solomon says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. I want my strength to be strong. I'm not that tough sometimes. Sometimes I'm rather weak. But I want it to be strong all the time. I got that verse cut out, typed out, and stuck underneath a piece of glass. So when I sit down in the morning, it's staring me in the face. Because there are tough days. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. What am I supposed to quit, Craig? I'll stop at 9:23. How's that? 9:23. Guarantee you. 9:23. Tough days will come. You know that. I raised 2 girls. I should say my wife. I kind of stood by and watched it happen. But I have 2 girls. And in the whole process, as they would hit tough days, she would tell them, some days you have to put on big girl panties. Somehow that just didn't jive for a guy too well. But I listened to it, and it made sense. And you go over here to the giveaway day sometimes, and you're sizing up all these clothes, and there are some huge panties. And I look at those, and I keep thinking back to what she says. I think, good grief. But I like the phrase a little better. Some days are tough. You got to get a helmet. So whichever way you want to look at it, you're not going to forget this, are you? Neither are you, Walter, okay? Some days are tough. You're going to have to get what gets you through, and you're going to have to be tough to make it. Because if you faint in the day of adversity, then your strength is small. Number two, you can do a whole lot more than you ever thought you could. And I can think of 1,000 different illustrations, some of them from the TV and some of them from real life, some of them from being in Vietnam, and some of them from just watching a guy on the streets in Memphis. When I was at Harding Graduate School and I was studying missions and stuff, and every Sunday morning there'd be this guy that'd be walking down the street headed to church. I have no idea what kind of difficulties he had just getting himself ready, because he could barely drag himself down the street, leg dragging behind, and his body was always twisted, and it was kind of stiff, and thought, how does he do it? He was there every Sunday. Now, there were some Sundays that we had singing. And when we did, he was the loudest one in the bunch. As Tom Henley would say, Tom, it sounded like a dying calf in a hailstorm. And it's just the worst you could ever imagine. And when we had the singing, nobody wanted to sit next to this guy, because he drowned out everybody. It was horrible. You may know somebody like that. Switch forward a few years, I'm in Argentina doing mission work. Got my Spanish down. I'm doing a good job. There are tough days. Yeah, you bet there are. And that church where I used to go was sending me cassette tapes so I could hear the sermon every Sunday and have something to fill my bucket, because I was constantly giving out and I needed something for me. So one day I popped the cassette in and it was singing. And I thought, just singing. Well, I let it play for a second. Pretty soon I heard, and I thought, that guy is still going to church. And out of all the sermons, that's the one I remembered, you see. The lesson is, when you're playing it tough, it makes a difference. What made a difference to me was not the sermon that was preached, but it was that guy that could barely get himself out of bed, get himself dressed, and get to church that was still going. He's the one you notice. Jesus says in Matthew 10:16, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So we're supposed to treat everybody nice, good, loving, caring. But we're going to have to be tough in the meantime for ourselves. The life of Jesus, physically tough, mentally tough, emotionally tough, and as loving as anybody could ever be. That's our mom. So go easy on others, and when life gets tough, get a helmet. I said I'd finish at 9:23. Luke 9, verse 23. Jesus says to his disciples, if any man wants to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. That's my quitting point. That's your beginning. Get a helmet. Thank you.
Circle up.
Do you have the Nicaragua list here? What's up, guys? What? Good job. What are you coming? Okay. Both hands.
Lord, make me a servant. Lord, make me like you. For you are a servant. Make me one too. Lord, make me a servant.
come together. The opportunity to come together and just hear about the mission opportunity, Lord. The chance to go out and spread your word, spread your love, and just to show what being a true Christian is to the world. Dear Lord, we just ask that you be with each and every one of us as we might begin to start thinking about going on a mission trip, Lord. We just ask that you guide us in the direction that you want us to go. Send us to where we can be of the most use, Lord, where we can be the most good. Dear Lord, we love you, and we just thank you for these opportunities that we have. As we continue on with this month and here and other places that we go, we just pray that you be with us and keep our minds and our hearts open, Lord. Just help us to truly pay attention so that we can figure out where we're going to fit in best and where we can best serve you, Lord. We love you, and we thank you. Here's something we pray.
Amen.
Now let's see meeting back.
Also, last night for girls retreat sign up.
Nicaragua sign up list here. And pins.
You bet.
I got you. What I do this. Oh, we're talking about Chris and I are working on
You don't have to leave.
We'll see you in You're doing good. Keep working on it.
But that's what you did to go.
Connor, chill. I'm going home. Matter of fact,
Wait, so you're going to the apartment?
you're going to take some for Becky.
Yeah. Because I want to go. I want to stay here, but I need to go study. What's this one? Man, I am going home now.
I was